Hi, I'm Lisa Bewley and I teach health and social care, which I've been doing for a number of years now. The reason I got into health and social care is because on a personal level I have had to deal with people that have chosen to work in that sort of profession, and it's made a difference to myself and my family. Having adopted 2 boys and being a full-time carer for my mum, dealing with care workers, social workers and nurses when she had a stroke. So I do realise how important it is and feel passionate that if you have empathy and you want to make a difference in society, that it's quite an important subject that you could be choosing. For example, it could take you into nursing, social work, working in a nursery. You could work as a care assistant in a care home, which I know from personal experience makes a big difference. You could be wanting to go into midwifery, work with the police, work in teaching even. Sometimes you do have to deal with certain situations that happen in society that will involve this subject. I feel that if you were going to choose health and social as a sort of career move, you can go directly from Abbott Bain into a job, into a role that it makes a difference to people. You can look at apprenticeships, and you can also go off to do university. So for example, you might want to be a therapist, in which case you might want to extend that role. You do have an optional unit as part of the course that links with different paths that you may want to take, such as looking at psychological disorders. It could be supporting individuals with different needs. It could be that you want to be a specific type of social worker. It may be that somebody within this area has made a difference to you and your family, and you feel that it's important for you also to make that difference in your life. Within this course, you will be doing a number of mandatory units, starting off, and it will be an exam-assessed unit, which will be looking at the human lifespan, so looking at different stages that humans go through, looking at the fact that within infancy you develop more in that stage of your life than any other time, and gradually working through different sort of norms, what's expected, looking at milestones. But you also might be looking at different factors that can happen to people that may impact on that kind of development, such as having to deal with their sexuality or their gender in adolescence and early adulthood. It is very interesting and does link to everyday life and society that we're living in. The next unit that you will be looking at will be Unit 5, and it's about meeting the needs of the individuals. This will be a coursework assessed unit, and it will be very much looking at what different stages in life, what people need, the different issues that they need, the roles and responsibilities within the healthcare sector, and just really exploring how individual needs are met. The next unit that you'll be looking at, and that'll be the second year, and that'll be Unit 2, and that's looking at working within health and social care. Again, looking at the roles and responsibilities within that. And then finally, you will get the opportunity, again in the second year, to do an optional unit, which may link to an area of study that you're interested in pursuing further, whether it's going to university, whether you want to go into a particular section of the industry, whatever it might be, but you have got a choice. You could be looking at sociology, you could be looking at supporting individuals' needs, psychological disorders. There are a range of choices that you can be making at that point. Doing this course, I think one of the things that they really will be enjoying is doing some work experience within this sort of sector. So it could be working in a feeder school, it could be work experience in a hospital, it could be just even visiting a care home and visiting and entertaining people who don't get many visitors. I know from experience what a difference it can make, as my mum works in a care home, and it can make such a difference to her day as she has something to look forward to each and every day that's organised by that care home. I think it's also good for students, and I think they quite enjoy the fact that this subject, above any other, really does relate and can relate to everyday life. It certainly does for me, which is why I feel quite passionate about it. And I think it can do. It's amazing how many students, when we start to touch on certain subjects, that it actually relates to their life, whether it's a grandparent being in a care home, it could be that we're talking about ageing and looking at different illnesses such as Alzheimer's. I've had students whose grandparents have been affected by Parkinson's, Alzheimer's, and it gives them a real understanding, and they can really relate to their lives what we're actually doing as part of the subject, which I think is why it is quite an interesting area to study, leading on to making a difference in other people's lives. Zarel, why is it that you have taken health and social as a subject? Where is it that you want to go in the future?
I want to be an occupational therapist, so I'm thinking about apprenticeships or going to uni.
Students can go on to do a number of different roles. Speech therapy is one of them, being a youth worker, from anything from that to being a psychotherapist, going into acupuncture, dealing with people's issues. Could be nursing, could be a doctor, could be working even in child therapy or art therapy. You can go into many roles, and having done some research, I must have 100 at least different roles and different areas of study that you can go into. I hope that this has given you a flavour and an understanding about what health and social is about, and I will see you hopefully next year. Thank you very much.